Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Sahar. I'm an incoming 1L and I would love if you subscribed to my channel. I will also leave all of my social media linked down below. But today we're going to be chatting through some of my law school fears. I've been feeling very anxious the last couple of weeks, and I feel like even though we still have a few months left before the semester starts, there are a lot of things that are kind of on my mind that I just wanted to sit down and talk about. I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about the mental health aspect of not only law school itself, but also leading up to it. I feel like as someone who struggles with anxiety a lot, I just really want this channel to be as open and honest as possible in terms of that. And I just wanted to sit down and talk and go through some of the things that I am really nervous about when it comes to law school. Now, don't get me wrong, I am so grateful and so excited to start law school. That is something that I've been looking forward to for what seems like forever. I have always known that I've wanted to be a lawyer ever since I can remember, and there hasn't really been a point in my life where I really focused on doing something else with my future career. Like, law is something that I've always felt called towards and something that I've just always wanted to go into. And even with that, I'm still nervous. You know, there's still things that are making me anxious, and I kind of wanted to talk about them. So the first thing that I'm kind of really nervous about is just the idea of making friends in law school. I feel like I am not someone who is very extroverted. I like to call myself an extroverted introvert. Like, if I'm talking to you, like, I'm gonna have a good time and I'm going to contribute to the conversation. It's gonna be great, but I can't really spend too much time with people without feeling incredibly just drained. Like, my social battery lasts like less than how long my camera battery lasts. Like, I can't do a lot of social things without feeling exhausted afterwards. And that also makes it really hard for me to go out there and put myself out there and meet people. I feel like I'm I wouldn't call myself shy. Like, I don't think I'm a shy person, but I'm also not super outgoing. Like, it's really hard for me to just like strike up a conversation with someone, and the thought of having to kind of start over and going to a state and a city and a school where I don't know anybody is really stressful, because I have no idea how I'm gonna make friends. And it's even scarier when you think about the fact that the people that you're going to law school with are your peers right now, but they're also going to be your peers in the workforce in the future. And law school is just one giant networking opportunity. And if I don't put myself out there, then I'm not going to be able to really take advantage of that. And it's hard. Like, making friends in law school seems really hard, because I know that law school itself is difficult. It is. It's really hard. It's really rigorous, and I know that, but I have faith in myself and my academic ability, and, you know, just school's just something that I've always loved and I've always worked hard at, and I'm not really scared about that element of law school. It's more of the social component that really scares me, and I'm just nervous about how I'm gonna be making friends. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to meet people. Like, I just feel I'm already behind. Like, it feels like a lot of people who are going to my school already somehow know each other, or they went there for undergrad, and it's difficult. It's really hard to feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and that I will make friends with time, and it's not going to happen immediately, especially because I just know myself. But it is hard to kind of think about how I'm going to have to put myself out there, and I can't just kind of sit in my own little bubble and just study really hard and make it through law school and everything will be fine. You know, like I really want to make some lifelong friends throughout this whole process, and it's hard to do that. So, but another thing that I kind of want to talk about is kind of the cutthroat environment of law school. I come from an educational background where it wasn't cutthroat. Like every school that I've gone to, high school, middle school, college, it's all been like, it's been very collaborative, and I've always felt comfortable asking people for help and, you know, feeling comfortable to share my own notes and to get notes from other people, and just seeing how everyone wants to help each other is something that I feel like I've taken for granted, and I'm just really nervous that that is just not how law school is going to be. And I don't really know how intense it really is. I mean, I've seen movies like Legally Blonde where people are very intense and it's very difficult and it's very rigorous, and you know, you see people like clawing at each other to get to the top, and I don't know if that's really the reality of things because I haven't experienced it yet, but it is scary that even a toned down version of that is still very cutthroat and it's still very intense, and I'm not sure how I'm going to navigate through that. Like I feel like my school is pretty collaborative, at least from like what I've seen and from the upperclassmen that I've talked to. It seems like it's a school that is more collaborative than it is cutthroat, even if it has elements of both. So that's good. That's a good thing to like know, and that's a good thing to see, especially hearing it from people who've already gone through that school, who've graduated or are 3Ls there. So it's definitely reassuring, but I feel like there's always like a little bit of intensity, especially with like the curve and the grading system, and you know, we're all fighting for the same jobs essentially, and so I can definitely see why it is cutthroat, but I'm not sure like how that's going to translate with how I function academically, and it's a scary thought. But yeah, and then kind of the last thing that I want to chat about in this is the feelings of imposter syndrome. And I know that this isn't like a foreign concept, it's not anything revolutionary, but I feel like imposter syndrome is just, it's very common, especially in the legal profession and in legal education, and it's definitely something that the closer we get to law school, the more I'm starting to feel. And if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, I'll put up the official definition. It says, imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. It disproportionately affects high-achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. It also has a question below that says, what does imposter syndrome feel like? And I feel like this encompasses kind of the feelings that I'm having pretty well, so I'm just going to read off of this. It says, imposter syndrome, also called perceived fraudulence, involves feelings of self-doubt and personal incompetence that persist despite your education, experience, and accomplishments. And I feel like that's a pretty accurate way to describe kind of what I'm feeling. I feel like even though I'm, you know, in the same school as my peers, or I've gotten similar grades or similar LSATs to people that I know who are going to my school, or just people that I'm surrounded by, it still feels like I'm doubting myself and I'm doubting my abilities, and I feel like I just don't belong here, because it's hard to kind of describe imposter syndrome, because on one hand you can objectively see everything you've kind of accomplished and everything that got you to the point you are. And I am really proud of everything that I've achieved, and I'm proud of, you know, my work ethic, and I'm proud that I have, you know, the academic competence to go through law school and like get in and want to go and all of that. Like overall, I don't have doubts in my academic abilities, but when you start surrounding yourself with people who are in similar positions and who are at the same school, it starts to get a little more difficult. And I really don't know how to kind of cope with that, and not sure how or if this feeling will ever go away. And I need to figure out ways to kind of cope with it, and kind of going off of that, also finding ways to kind of cope with my anxiety and just being a naturally very, very anxious person. I really want to use this last kind of summer of freedom that I have to figure out ways that I can deal with my anxieties and manage them, and at least just ensure that when it comes to actually going through law school, I have ways, or I have things I can turn to that will help my anxiety, whether that's working out or reading or whatever it is. I really want to kind of solidify my methods of relief, essentially. And yeah, I don't want these feelings of self-doubt and unworthiness to force me to almost overcompensate and put in a lot of work and end up burning out. I feel like burnout is very, very prevalent in law school, and I want to avoid it as much as possible. And so I really need to prepare and kind of go in with the mindset that even though these feelings are inevitable, I still need to pace myself and really set a solid schedule and not go too hard too fast to where I'm burnt out when it comes to final season. So yeah, but that is kind of all I wanted to talk about in this video. It's not my typical content, I feel like, at least from the few videos that I've put out, but it's something that's been on my mind, so I kind of wanted to talk about it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me just talking on the floor of my apartment, and hopefully the next one will be a little bit more cheerful, a little bit more upbeat. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a wonderful morning or night wherever you are, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.